if. So now we're going to listen to Millie Bling and go start activity 4. So we'll listen all the way through it, and then we will talk about it. So let me get that set up. And the first one that I play, I want to make sure that I'm going to play a little bit of it and stop it because we want to make sure everybody can hear it and see it, okay, without it being blurry and stuff. So hold on a minute. Let me get that started.
Is that your noise in the background, Jean, or whose is it? Do you know?
I don't think it's mine because I'm the only one home. So I'll tell you what, while we are listening to this, well, let me try it first to make sure it's coming through okay. Hold on now.
I thought we were going to start with Millie Blink.
Oh, yes, we are. Oh, the wrong one, huh? Good thing you see. I told you I'm ready for a nap. There we go. There it is. Oh, shoot. I thought they were all going to be the same size. I wouldn't have to resize this frame. Darn it. Okay, let me see. There we go. All right, so I'm just going to play a little bit of it first.
I first found pure beauty in your precious smile, like no other.
Can everyone see it and hear it okay?
Yeah. It's a bit light for me, but...
It's loud? Okay.
It's light. No, it's soft
light.
for me.
Oh, it's soft.
But I listen to it a lot separately, so that's okay.
Okay, because I have it.
You can't do anything about it. I'm hearing impaired.
I turned it up as loudly as I could. Okay, so now
yeah.
I lost all of you. Now what happened to you? Hold on a minute. I gotta find you. Hello? Are you there anywhere? Where did you go? Happy darn. How come when I have this on? Usually I can see you guys in the background. I can't even find you. What the heck? That's very strange. Because I want to be
video.
able to
see you, Jean. We can see you, and we're all.
Oh, that's good. But I want to be able to see you in case we need to stop or something. Let's see. How did that happen? Because when I do that,
I'll let you know. I'll let you know if anybody.
Okay, good. That'll be good. All right. Okay, so we're gonna listen through this now, and okay, here we go. I'll start it back where it was.
I first found pure beauty in your precious smile, like no other I had seen. And if you should ever wonder if it's true, dear, please believe that my love is all for you. Only shines in the darkest night. You're an angel from above, and it feels so right. You're heaven's gift to me. You are so beautiful. Oh, you are so beautiful. You are so beautiful. You are beautiful to me.
There we go. All right. So everybody can see and hear that all right. Did you read the instructions when it said when you were listening to this to not look at it? Just use your ears and listen?
Yeah.
Because wow, does that make a difference? It really affects me, especially especially when I'm watching a chorus and all their choreography, because I start watching all that instead of really listening to the music. And actually, the judges don't watch either. Oh shoot, what the visual? What's the new category called? I don't want to say the wrong thing. Anyway, the visual person looks up and watches, but the other three keep their head down and just use their ears to listen. And if you've ever tried that, you know, or the ones that we don't get to today, and you if you haven't done all 6 of them yet, try that. Try watching it, and then try listening without watching it. And notice how much more you can hear of what's going on. So interesting. So anyway, what did you come up with? Did this song have an intro?
Oh, yes.
Yes, it had an intro. So Donna, please go ahead and unmute yourself in case you have any comments you want to make. If you find your little microphone, you should be.
How to do that. Okay,
there
now.
it is. All right. We just want to make sure we include everybody. So so it started out with an intro, and then what was the next part of the song? Did they do a
Right
verse
into the
next?
chorus.
Yep. Then they
Chorus
did the
first, yeah.
chorus. Yep. And then what happened after that?
A verse or a
There's
bridge.
Yeah, it was
yeah,
kind
sort
of
of
like
an interlude.
yeah, it was kind of an
Yeah.
interlude that they sort of used it as a verse, although I think they made that part up. I don't remember, you know, I think the arranger threw that in there because I don't remember,
Okay.
you know, having that part of the song in the regular song that I've ever heard. But, you know, who knows? And then what happened after that?
Reprise and tag.
Yes, they did a reprise. So the reprise is usually part of the chorus again, and many times it's the second half of the chorus part again, or the refrain again. And so, and did it have a tag? Yes.
Yeah.
So what was the tag? It was kind of short, wasn't it? Did you, do you remember how the ending was? Let's see. Because there are two.
Quiet.
Yes. So they had the big climax, and then it got
Yeah.
soft again and
Yeah.
came down again. And so the end of the song is "You Are So Beautiful to Me," right? And then that's how they ended that, with a little diddly at the end. It really wasn't, you know, like an 8-bar tag or anything. Let's listen to just that ending again. Let's see.
You're so beautiful. You are so beautiful. You are beautiful
Yeah, so the tag was to me, where the tenor did the hanger and you are beautiful to me. Yes. And they actually used the last part of the song because the end of the chorus is you are so beautiful to me, is what she sang. And then they hooked on the tag right onto that. Because you're going to find out as we're studying tags that some tags, they finish the whole song like they could have done, you are so beautiful to me. And then one, yes, you are so beautiful to me or something. But this was intertwined. You know what I mean? Because they did that, the last part of the song, you're so beautiful to me. That's where it ended, but that also is where the tag started. So sometimes they do tags like that. And so, in listening through the song just one time, were you able to figure out that it had an intro and or did you have to listen to it more than once? I'm just curious because this is something that, you're not used to doing.
I had to listen more than once.
I
Yeah.
do.
I
Yeah.
had trouble, like with the rubato at the beginning, I actually had trouble feeling where the beat was. And so I couldn't work out the bars until they got past the beginning bit.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and that's okay. Yeah, that'll happen, especially in a ballad. Yeah. So yes, and so imagine being a judge. You get to hear the song one time, and
Yeah.
and you notice something and you have to start writing it down. But as you're writing it down, something else is happening in the song, that you can't get everything written down that you hear, but you want to try to hit the highlighted spots or the trouble spots or something. So, and they only get to listen to it once. And I coach a lot of quartets in our region, and they sang the Smile medley, and they did you either have a good hit on stage or you don't, right? Of course, when they sang for the chorus, they did a fabulous job. And of course, they said, "Oh, why couldn't we do that on stage?" Has that ever happened to you? And so when they sang on stage, they didn't do as well as they did in front of the chorus. And so they were so upset when the judge said, "Well, this song was too hard for you." And they came back to me and said, "All the notes." So we went through and listened and said, "Ooh, sounds like you're struggling here. Ooh, it sounds like this was a difficult part." Oh yeah, we didn't have a very good hit on that. Well, you have to understand the judge doesn't hear what you did last week at chorus. That was fabulous. They only hear what you do on stage, right? Or like this past year on the video, however that turned out. And so they only have one shot to listen to it. And so that makes it, really, really tricky. And to try to catch everything is hard, especially just listening to it one time. So did any, as I was listening to this intro, when when the intro was over and it was time to do the "You Are So Beautiful to Me," it kind of made me go, did anybody else have that kind of reaction after the intro? It just made me go like,
What's your
That's
reaction?
that was when I felt like it went normal.
yeah, true, yes. It was almost like a metered ballad, which that's okay too. Let me go back to where this started. Let me see.
I thought it was a pretty long intro also.
It was a long intro. And so one of the things when they talk about a balanced arrangement and balanced form, it was a pretty long intro.
Yeah.
And the tag wasn't that long, and they don't always have to match, but sometimes, so that maybe kind of felt kind of off. But I'm gonna play the intro again and then start the chorus part and then stop and see what you notice.
I first found pure beauty in your precious smile, like no other I had seen. And if you should ever wonder if it's true, dear, please believe that my love is all
you know what it felt like to me? And that's just my opinion. So I guess, I felt like they took an intro. I'm sure the arranger wrote the intro for this song, but it almost felt like it came from another song and they just plopped it in there. And then when they started, so the intro was in one key and the start of the song was in a different key. Did anybody notice that besides me? And it
No,
had a transition that worked, but
do you think maybe the arranger did that because there's no long verse and this song is very much about the chorus and the chorus and the chorus. It's a very well-known, simple, clear melody. Do you think they're trying to compensate for it not having enough content?
Yes.
But
they
probably should have then taken either lyrics or melody inspired from. There's nothing in that intro that really comes later, is there?
No, does it really? Does it? What's the purpose of an intro? Who can tell me that?
To set up the story.
Yeah, to set up the story. Yes.
Yeah, and have you say, here's what's going to come next. Aren't you excited to hear what I'm going to say? And this one didn't really seem to have a correlation to the story.
Yes. And see, that always makes it feel like they took it from another song because they like that intro and threw it in there. So to me, it doesn't have the congruity that it needed, Yeah. And so as a music judge, I would probably write up at the top where it says about the form and arrangement of the song. I would probably make some kind of comment that said, this intro, didn't feel like it went, I'd find a nicer way to say it. Feel like it didn't go with the song. I wouldn't say it that way, but I would make a comment about that, and which they wouldn't be happy about. Not that it took points away, but just that as a music judge, that's something I noticed.
It has the intro, adding on to what you're saying there, and I think what others are saying is that the first part, it starts out and it feels like it's okay, and then all of a sudden this last part of the intro went out. All of a sudden it seemed off kilter or something, didn't it? I no longer was in that following along with them, because it was like it seemed like something contrived in there that, and again, as I think as Abby said, it didn't seem to go with anything that's going to follow later. It's like, and that I remember we researched this before, but that Billy Preston wrote this about his mother. I always think that's interesting.
Oh, wow.
We don't think about You're So Beautiful to Me, somebody wrote, but he wrote a song about his mother. So I'm just throwing that in there.
Yeah.
I do think that it has the form of this song bothers me all the way around,
Yes.
because it's like the repetitive thing, we generally don't sing things where we sing the same thing over and over and over. And but I guess if you're that gorgeous and and can rock that outfit and can look like that, we'll have to forgive you for anything.
Yeah.
They're just too beautiful, aren't they?
Right, because it really, the whole chorus says, "You are so beautiful to me." Can't you see? You are so beautiful to me. Did you hear me? You are so beautiful to me. Yeah. It doesn't have much content to it. Yeah. Which makes it a weak arrangement for a barbershop contest. So now I don't know if this is, this was in their big performance package thing. So I don't know if this was their contest song, how you have to have one song that gets judged like contest, or if it was another song. But if I remember correctly, I think this was their contest song. And then I said that always floors me, the quartets like this. Yes, they're fabulous singers. And they went in with the attitude, we don't care, we like the song, we're going to sing it. Now, so they're excellent singers. And had they sung a much stronger piece of music that was more fit more in the barbershop style category, as far as the form of the song and the chords used and all that stuff, they probably were scored even higher than what they did. To me, I think this was like I wouldn't want to say downfall, but this is one of the reasons they didn't score higher if that was their contest song, because it's really not much to it as far as what we're looking for if you ever read the music category description book about it. Yeah. Wow, fascinating. Did anybody else notice what Judy said? How it kind of felt kind of off kilter?
That right at the end of the intro, they stayed on a very dissonant chord longer than I wanted them to. I kept saying, please move. It was painful.
Yes. It's kind of like chord worshiping or something.
Or something, yes.
Yeah. And then that, to me, that was one of the reasons it felt off kilter, because even though it was a ballad in ballad style, there still should be an underlying pulse. And like Liz said, man, I
I
had
couldn't
trouble
feel it.
finding that. Well, I could feel it sort of at the beginning, but then as they got towards the end of that intro, it's like, what do you do? You know, too many retards, too many stretches, too many, too many fermatas or something. And not that it wasn't sung beautifully, but when you're looking at the criteria for the music category, it didn't really fit into the criteria. And so therefore it wouldn't score as high as like a strong, square, good barbershop arrangement. Does everybody understand what I'm talking about when I say that? Yes,
I think,
no?
and I think what Gina's, the important thing with what she's saying there, and what we can do as a takeaway, is that as we're working on something like, particularly if you write your own intro or you write your own story to that, is that you still need to have some kind of a format that feels like, as Liz was saying, there's still a pulse there. There's still a something that's bringing us forward, that we need as arrangers to know that we're not, you just can't just like throw something out there and say, well, I thought it was cool. It needs to have something that makes it, the congruency of the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? So as we will get into more about with intros, particularly in this song, you can hear easily that it starts out like it has promise. We're into it. And then all of a sudden it's like, I feel like you left me there, or as Donna says, funny. I don't know. It just has that, but I think that's what we need to take away from that, is that we can be creative and we can do those things, but it still has to have some sort of a form, some sort of a pulse, some sort of a reason to be, and not just,
That's not just their interpretation, is it? Like they've taken what should have had a rhythm and the way they've sung it made it
I don't think
go amorphous.
no,
I don't think so.
this. No, I think it's that the whole thing doesn't have it, no matter what they held or didn't hold. It just somehow was off. All I can say is off kilter, and I don't even know if that's even a correct word.
Yes. So now I'm going to we're going to play the intro again. I'm not going to do this on every song, but this is what my brain does. Of course, I don't know, maybe my brain's weird, because when you're saying I couldn't even find where the pulse was and stuff, and yes, I know it's ad lib style, so they don't always follow the beats, but I'm going to try to go like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, which won't be exactly right where I think the measures are. Okay, and then when I get to the end of the intro, it's like I can't even really tell where it is. I don't know.
I did that same thing. I kept trying to beat the time and I couldn't.
Yeah, that's like
I get
holy
lost.
moly.
It
Yes,
went somewhere.
yes, for sure. So I'm just going to try that just to show you what my brain is doing. All right.
I first found pure beauty in your precious smile, like no other I had seen.
So there's 4 measures.
And if you should ever wonder if it's true, dear,
It's almost like too many beats in that measure.
please believe that my love is all for you.
And so that should have been the end of it right there. And then they did, more stuff to it that made it feel off kilter a little bit. Yeah. So when I'm listening to stuff like that as a judge, like I don't sit there and count the measures like that, but I can feel as I'm, listening that, wait a minute, it's off. The form's a little bit off. And I would make a comment about that, that the form of the intro seemed a little bit off, not well balanced and stuff. Okay. So then we did the "You Are So Beautiful." Let's go on and what are the questions that they ask us. So let's talk about the chorus.
Can
You
I
are
just
so
ask an-
beautiful. Yeah, go
Oh,
ahead.
actually, well, I think maybe it was the same thing. I just want to ask about the form in the chorus because
Yeah.
I was having difficulty picking it. I think it was 32 bars, but it felt like it was an 8-bar segment.
Right. It was not even segments, which is kind of strange. But that's the way the form of the song is. So right
Hmm.
away, as a singing group for a contest, I wouldn't pick that song because the form of the chorus isn't the form that the judges are looking for. So but there are quartets like at this level, they don't care if it's the right form or not. We love this song, we sing the snot out of it, so we're going to do it. So I always think to myself, well, how would you have scored if you did a square barbershop thing just for that? You don't have to do one song that way. So let's look at the "You Are So Beautiful." Let's see if we can figure it out.
You are so beautiful to me, beautiful to me.
A little bit easier to find the meter in this part of the song.
You are so beautiful to me, Can't you see?
There's 8.
You're everything I ever hoped for. You're everything I need. You are so beautiful to me.
Oh, they stretched that. Okay.
You're a guiding light that
Here's the interlude.
shines in the darkest night. You're an angel from above, and it feels so right. You're heaven's gift to me.
Oh, now they're back to the chorus again. So that was
Yeah.
an odd number of measures. Oh my gosh, I was like, wait, I was waiting for it to finish in an even, in multiples of 4 or something. And all of a sudden, oh wait, they're right back at the chorus again. So that makes it feel off kilter. And like I know that I don't sit there in the pit and go like that, but I would be listening and I can feel pulse and it would make my toe trip because all of a sudden, wait a minute, they never really finished that one phrase. They jumped right into "You Are So Beautiful to Me." Did anybody catch that or hear that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a tough thing to catch. And I think
Well,
it's
6
because
bars is a weird, 6 bars is a odd
yes,
number.
It is, and it's like that. You're a guiding light that shines in the darkest night. You're an angel from above. It feels so right. And then, your heaven's gift to me. It's like that whole thought didn't have the. It felt off to you, but also as arrangers, I don't know if you noticed. Well, I'm sure you did notice. You heard it, but we talk about sometimes staying high for so long, and these are world-class singers, and it went out of tune for them. They were up there so high, and that when it feels so right, that it goes out of tune. Did you hear it? They were up there for so long. They were up there so high,
Yeah.
and it lost all of its. Everybody is up that high without any kind of a balance to it. So I think it should be something we want to be thinking about. Not to arrange something that's going to stay that high, all the voices for that long, because even
yeah,
world-class singers, it went out of tune for them, and it was painful. And I was like,
yeah.
man, if they so in it could have been, that's on the arranger pretty much.
Yes, yes, that's on the arranger. And so somebody, I always, I think we're smarter singers now, but I can remember I've been in Street Airlines for, I don't know, 46 years or something, a long time. And I can remember as a new Street Airline back in the day, you know, people didn't understand because they weren't musically trained enough. Somebody hears that song, I love it. They sang it and they came in third, or I don't know what they came in fourth or whatever they were. I'm going to have my quartet sing that. And it would be a disaster because probably my quartet would not have the same kind of vocal skills that these fabulous ladies have, you know, and then they're going to say, well, why didn't it score well? You know, so it's like, oh, yeah. So that'd be a couple of strikes when when we're talking about arranging things for a C-level group. It's got to be something pretty square that can fit the vocal skill, the level of vocal skills for a C-level group. And so that is way beyond skills for a C-level group for many reasons. And one of the reasons is exactly what Judy said about it being up so high for so long. Yeah. So when we went on to the, is there anything else you want to talk about the form?
Oh,
That was a big relief. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I was confused.
Oh yeah, very, very confusing. And a heck of a way to start off with a hard one like that. Jeez. But there's a method to their madness, because when we get later on and we get to a song that's more square barbershop, you'll notice right away that it's square, you know, that the form is good. Yeah. So to speak.
I think also when I listened to this, I backed it up just a little bit. And I
Mhm.
noticed, I believe that what the pitch that they blew was the seventh. I think it was the seventh.
Oh, you know
Yeah.
why? You know why? Because the intro was in a different key.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
why. The
Okay.
intro was in a different key than the chorus part. And so so that's a really good trick though. It's like, why would they do that?
And then the bass, her entry note, I believe, was the root. And the lead came in on the seventh, I think.
Oh, could be. I don't know.
Well, if you go back to I went to the beginning, just because I was just interested.
Oh yeah, okay. So let's see. Let's go back to
Which I think that's pretty darn unusual, isn't it?
yes. And not easy to do. Yeah.
No.
And it doesn't make, to me, it makes, it's not musically congruent that way. I know I always, when I was a music judge, and they love to do this in David Brooks. What's his chorus? Do you know who I
Wellington.
mean? Yeah.
Wellington
So,
City.
I was judging at their regional one time, and they did this fabulous song, you know, da, 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 da. And I've heard groups do this, but it drives me crazy. They'll sing and they'll do this rip roar and tag, and then end in a different key. Have you ever heard that on a tag? And and it makes, you know, I wanted to write, what the heck are you doing? I did not. I said, you know, the listener wants to always hear it come back to the home tone. They want to hear it come back to do. And really, when a song ends, it usually ends on the tonic chord of the key that they're in. But they just love to, you know, let's go and do this instead. To me, it jolts the listener. And for what reason, you know? So anyway, I put that little comment on there. So that's something to think about as an arranger. Unless a group specifically asks you to do that, I wouldn't do it. Or even if they ask you, I would say, oh, no. It'll score better if you end on the tonic chord of the key that you're in. Yeah. So anyway, shoot, I went down a dirt road, didn't I? What were we? Oh yeah, we're going back and okay, tell me again what you wanted to do. Listen to the intro, or you listen to the starting pitch?
Well,
The pitch take. Yeah.
I just noticed that, and I just thought that was very odd. I thought
Yeah.
it was and quite difficult too, because I listened for how did the bass get her pitch? She went down, I think she went down an entire seventh
Oh yeah.
from the pitch blown,
You
which
mean-
was like
You mean at the end of after the intro, you mean?
at the
or-
very beginning.
Oh, at the
before
very
intro.
beginning. Oh,
Yeah, at
okay.
the very beginning. I think
Let
it's like around 304 or 306.
Yeah,
something like
304 or
that.
something. So let's see if we can find
At the
that.
very beginning, like around the 3. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can hear that pitch blown.
Oh shoot, let's go back a little bit so we can hear the pitch. Wait a minute now. Oh, wait, I gotta go back to hear their pitch right. Ah,
I first found pure beauty in your precious smile.
so what pitch did they blow?
They blew C. They blew C. I don't think that was the seventh. Why would you?
Mm.
That's the key of the piece, but then they started on the bass down.
I'm confused.
Yeah, like the lead sang do, right? I first, or didn't the lead sing the
Yeah.
C?
That's what they blew. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was an unusual chord to start on. So just the fact that they had to go do do do, one person at a time to find their first note, that was a big clue that wow, that's a difficult chord to start on. And again, as we're talking about C-level singers, which they are not C-level singers, I understand that they could do that and they can do it fine. But you want to start either on the tonic chord when you start your intro or the 5/7 of the tonic chord, So and this wasn't either one of those, was it? Wow, that's kind of weird. That made it difficult. Yeah. I'm sure they had to practice and practice and practice that to make sure they could start it right. Interesting. All right. So what were some of the things? Did you find anything in each part?
They
Where-
each had little things.
What'd you find?
Like they had duets and trios.
Yeah. That makes it musically interesting. And gosh, it's good that this had that because the message was, you are so beautiful to me. You are so beautiful. You got to do something to give it variety. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there were 2 tenor hangers.
Yes. Nice. And
And
then she did
there was
it
a really
beautifully.
interesting, yes, she did. There was a really interesting Barry embellishment that would normally be reserved for bass, where she came in the downbeat and then the other 3 parts came in.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was
nice.
cute, but very effective. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not something you would expect, but it was like, oh, that was cool. That's when I sit in the audience and I listen to an arrangement and I go, oh, I never thought of that idea before. I'm going to jot that down. Have the Barry do the pickup, and that's how
And
you
then
find some ideas.
the bass has the solo on the melody at the end, and I actually couldn't tell whether it was the baritone or not because her tone of voice was a little bit strained up there, but it was cool that she did that.
Yeah.
I had to actually watch the video to see who was singing it. I actually thought it was the baritone because it didn't sound as solid as it could have been.
Right.
That final one.
Yeah. Yeah. So interesting, the voices, the voice leading that they used and the voicing that they used was a big was a strength, helped to strengthen this musical presentation because they needed something to, not that they didn't perform it well, but it's like if you're talking about the criteria for a competition song, it's like, wow, didn't have a lot of that in there. And did anything, so the tenor had some beautiful hangings. Did you notice anything else about any of the other parts? I think you hit most of the cool things.
Lots of layering, like lots of some I'll call it layering more than echo. Like you'd have little duets and one part would maybe hold the end of the phrase and the others would come under, but it was more like layering rather than direct echoes. It helped transition, I think.
Yes, yeah. That was very cool. And
The
so
lead line had that rhythmic offset that was just a little bit to give a came in with different, the little different timing, and that gave some interest to everything too. Particularly when you're singing the same thing over and over again, that helped.
Yeah, very cool.
I thought I heard in the climax the tenor move up to like a dirty note or something. Did she do that?
think
In
so.
climax,
So
she
I
moved.
was just going to talk about the climax. Where was the climax? Did everybody agree it was in the same place? It was kind of
thought it was
obvious
in
in this song.
I think the lyrics were "You are so beautiful to me." Does that specify the location?
Oh, yeah, right.
It was like one of the last beautifuls or something before the tag, right? Something
Yep.
like that. I don't know. Let's see if I can.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Please believe
Did I go too far?
that my
You mean,
Oh, I
No,
did go too
That's
far.
the intro.
Oh,
I
no,
think
no,
that-
no,
I
no.
wrote it down as 5:35.
all the way to the, yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Try to get towards that ending. And
are so beautiful. Oh, you are so beautiful.
Right there.
yeah. Does everybody agree that was the climax right there? Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, she sang that note up an octave higher. Yeah. So what note was that?
I think it was a B flat.
Yeah,
Oh, that's in the nosebleed section. Woo!
and the whole chord was out of tune, so.
Yeah. So it's like, ooh, but you're right. That was a good ear that you picked that up, that the tenor did that. Yeah, cool. So you could tell that was the climax. And so in the original version of this song, it really didn't have a climactic spot. The arranger had to create the climax. Did you notice that? I
Nice.
mean, yeah. So what were some of the tools that they used to create that climax? How did we know that was the climax?
High and tight.
Huh? What'd you say?
High and tight.
Yes, high and tight. Yes, and they held on to it, and yeah,
And what's that word? The tension chord.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely was a tension chord. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and a big swipe, or slide up there.
Yeah, they slid up to it.
On it.
And beautiful out of the phrase, you are so beautiful to me. Beautiful is the climactic word lyrically,
Mm.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
so that was the good place to put the climax. These are all things you have to think about if you are ever arranging a song that doesn't have a built-in climax and you have to create where it goes. Those are things you can use, stick them in your bag of tricks when you're it's so fun. I love going to the contest and hearing what they do for climaxes, hearing what they do for tags, hearing like, oh, that's cool. Oh, I never thought of that. Oh, that was cool, and I mark it down on my program, and go home and listen to it again and stuff. Yeah. So it had a lot of cool things in this song, even though not very many of the chords were barbershop 7 chords. Did anybody notice that part? Yeah. And then, but it was cool how they grabbed the audience emotionally because it built up to you are so beautiful, and then it calmed down again at the end, right? Yeah. Which
So I think what they lack in maybe content variety or melodic variety, they make up for in dynamic. That's what I put as the strong point is they had a very intense and quiet chorus, which really takes your attention. And for something that's quite bland in general, they actually made the most out of it dynamically. They really did the most they could. And then that in turn was with the energy and the forward motion, because it really rolled along, even though it didn't have like a real clear storyline.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful performance of it. And so that's the other big argument about the music category. Yes, the piece of music, the chart, is only like 30% of the score, and the way you perform it is 70% of the score. And when you get at this level of singing, you are far better at doing the 70% of the score than, say, a C-level group, because they're just learning how to do all that stuff. And so when you're arranging for a C-level group, even though you want to have cool spots in it, you don't want to make it too hard for them. And so that they can show off what they can show off well, the basic, I know how to sing a triad in tune. I know how to sing a barbershop seventh in tune, that kind of stuff. And so their category weights might be about the same for the kind of the arrangement and how they performed it, where at a group like this, it would be weighed like this because there's performance part of it far outweighed the technical stuff that was in the arrangement, right? But not all groups can do that, see, so, yeah. So it's a risk that you take and hope it works, yep. Anything else about this song that we want to talk about before we go on to the next one?
But did you talk about question 4?
Oh, let me see. What was question 4? I have to go back and look. Let me see what it is.
How is forward motion affected by the voice leading?
Oh, yeah, I think, who was that? I think it was Abigail that said that. What did you say about was it Abby that said about the forward motion?
I think that they did well, in this particular arrangement, I think it was the arranger. Other songs we
Right.
listened to, I'm not sure if it was just the technique, but in this case, it was arranged so that you could do a quiet, intense chorus and then a big, strong, higher, brighter other bits. And
Mhm.
that I felt contributed to forward motion. I found that the actual chorus line did not have a lot of energy, but didn't need to because it had intensity. And then as it moved on, it seemed to roll quicker because it went higher and moved along more because it was higher. Is that
That
is that
makes
correct?
sense. That makes
Okay.
sense what you're saying. And the
This
other
one
thing,
actually did, but the
Yeah.
others I couldn't tell. The other
Yeah.
ones we listened to, I couldn't tell whether it was the performance or the arrangement.
uh-huh. So
Hmm.
one of the things that helps the forward motion in this particular song was how the 3 parts had you do, their part was like that, and then the lead had a contrasting rhythm with it. Do you, that helped propel it with the forward motion, and also the way that they the end of the phrases, like you are so beautiful to me, the way the song goes, right? But they did lots of embellishments in there to keep the song moving forward. And yeah, so those are arranging tricks. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. I just
Right?
really didn't know what that question was asking.
Yeah. So, and it's hard to figure all that out, especially when you're new at trying to do this. Yeah. Does that make sense to what I said, Donna? Yeah.
So it was really wanting to know how did they do forward motion? Or
Yeah.
what showed forward motion? That's what
Yeah.
that question really is asking.
Right.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So in a ballad, yeah, you're listening for forward motion. In a Neptune, the forward motion is usually the tempo. That's what keeps it going.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like,
Right.
as we'll find out here. Yeah. Okay, let's see what else is there. Okay, everything in the middle. Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, and we talked about after the climax how it came back down. That helped with it too. Yeah.
How about what you think was the strongest part of the arrangement, or the over, or something that was particularly,
yeah.
what
What
was
made
it
it?
that struck you about this arrangement?
What
and-
made this performance so wonderful?
Yeah,
I like the tenor and bass moments that they got to shine.
right.
And I don't know if it was Abby or Emily, I can't remember. Somebody said about how their dynamics played such a big role in it. You know,
Exactly.
because I mean, that took the audience on an emotional ride, you know. I always feel like riding the wave like a surfer or something, you know. Yeah. And they were very good at that, and how the dynamics helped the ebb and flow of the musical product and stuff.
There was a place in there, I think with the, where it's, the bass was really low and the other parts were up high. And once again, we find ourselves confronting tuning issues, even for this quartet, for that, you everything, they're up, I think the other three parts were up quite high and the bass, so you had that, remember we look at that more than an octave between touching parts. And I think that was another thing for us to remember. That's another reason why that's not a good idea, because if this group had trouble with it, and also when we talked about moving, everybody moving up, unless it's a swipe, which is done for an effect, but that going up is can present real tuning problems and balance problems. We didn't have the same balance, and also remembering what our not the the tessiture, but the ideal voice ranges are. This arrangement had these singers out of their best singing ranges, and even for a champion quartet, that posed problems, because once you take people out of what is your best singing range, you now have an opportunity to have tuning issues and not performing with your best vocal quality. So I think that's, I hope that's one of the takeaways that I think we need to have from that, is to remind ourselves. That's why we want to throw something in and put that bass up on a high G or something, and everybody up above that's going to be a tuning problem and a vocal quality problem, because we don't sing in the best part of our range outside of the range. That makes sense.
Right. Yeah, too many chords outside their comfort zone. Yeah.
Outside of the comfortable singing range for your given part. Yes, thank you.
Lots of arrangements have that, but only for a chord or two. And in this song, it was quite a bit. Yeah. Yeah, more than it should have been. And I've, as an arranger, I've had choruses come in quartets and say, we want to sing this song. This is a men's arrangement. And that made me think of that, Judy, when you said, oh, there's that bass note way down here and everybody else is way up there. That was probably a voicing for a men's group, and which they can get by with that and make it sound fabulous. And it's really, it doesn't work very well for women. So then you have to revoice it, to make it work for women. And there were spots in this song that made me think of that. So I don't know if it was or not, but anyway. Yeah. Okay, is there anything else we want to talk about in this song before we go to the next one? Okay, so how was this, going through this like this? Does it seem to be helpful at all, or not really? Or because we want to have feedback about this activity. What do you think?
I will feel better going forward now that I sort of know what we're supposed to do. I just really struggled with this.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to try to do the first one together, so you'd have a better idea. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna
I wonder whether I was gonna say, these are obviously all excellent performances. I do wonder if it would be helpful to watch a C-level chorus with an excellent arrangement, because this one was pretty clear to me, but like the future ones, I thought, well, they might have just done a really good, like dynamics especially. I still find it hard to tell, is it because of the arrangement or is it because of the vocal skills? And I couldn't, like that question that Donna had, I actually circled that and wrote, not sure. Like I didn't really understand about the voice and voice.
You're exactly right. We've talked with the ACP folks about this, that in fact, I think what's difficult, it's a valuable exercise, but what's difficult about this is that you're watching championship performances of all of these things. It doesn't allow us a chance to see what could have been this problem here. when they're all either queens or gold medal winners. So I think that's a
Yeah.
very good point. And thank you for bringing that up, because that was one of my first things. I'm like going, what am I
Yeah.
supposed to get out of this? They could sing anything, you know, as they say, you put a bag over their head and they'd
And
sound
are these sea level arrangements? Like, are these going to be in the
well,
folios?
no, of course they're
for-
not.
They are not.
So, I mean, I
Yeah.
understand studying this because it's the ultimate goal,
Mhm.
but when you keep saying, hold on, make it easier, don't be so fancy with your embellishments,
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
you know, I
Well-
like, anyway, it's interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can be fancy with your embellishments if it's in their range, if it's within the range of the singers, you know?
Yeah.
Like some of these were like way too high for the average singer, but yeah. Yeah, it's very confusing. Yeah, I get what you're saying. But yeah,
But thank you for
yeah,
noting
that's
that,
good.
because I think,
Yes.
you know, as we go through and review these things, I think it's once again another thing that would be, let's hear a you know, a C or B or a, you know, a level group sing these, and then see if we can see where the more accurately pick out these difficult areas and things that we can learn from is that. So anyway,
I think like the same way that we get distracted by the visual, I
Yeah.
think that even if we're just listening, we get distracted by the vocal skill. And what you're trying to teach us is, okay, good for that group, however they performed it, good on them, but that's not the point. The point is it's the arrangement and the one that they chose and the arranger. So that's probably why we find it challenging, because we're not looking at the sheet music, we're hearing the interpretation.
Yeah,
Very
you gotta
good.
listen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All righty. Okay, are we ready to move on to the next one?
oh yeah.
All righty. Here we go. This one flies by so fast. It makes me go. Let's see now. Okay, you guys disappeared again. Let me see. There we go. All right, here we go. I think I have it in the right spot. Woo! That makes you go. Holy moly. So, what was the, did you figure out the form in that one? Good Lord. It went by really quickly. So once again, you know, it's hard to catch it on listening to that just one time. Yeah. So, did it have an intro?
Mhm. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Good. What happened after the intro? The part that goes,
Is that a verse?
Yes, that is a verse because when they got to Night of a Thousand Eyes, that's the
Right,
name of the
right.
song. So that would be the chorus part. Yeah. Okay, so they had an intro and then a verse and then the chorus. And then what?
Key change.
Oh, yeah, it was in there somewhere. Yeah, I didn't pay attention, but you're right. Yeah.
I always include that in the form because I think it's an important decision when you're
Yes.
setting out the form.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very good. So where was the key change? Was it before the second verse or was it before the second chorus?
After the first chorus?
Okay. I
Oh,
forgot that. I forgot to listen.
With it in the middle of the chorus, it's 32 bars of chorus hadn't lapsed at that point.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, okay, we'll go back and listen. Okay.
I'm
We'll
a
have
bit
to-
mixed up on numbers now.
yeah.
Well, so am I, because that's why I thought I didn't include that first 16 bars as verse, because I figured
Me too.
form wise, it made more sense that was 32 bar chorus than key change. But
That's what I
Ah,
had. I had
Yeah.
chorus because it felt like it was part of, even though the title line wasn't till near the end of it, it felt like that was one section.
ah, yeah. I don't
Anyway,
really know how the
but-
chorus starts. I was assuming it was da 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 da. Judy, are you familiar enough with the song to know which was the verse, which was the
Yeah,
chorus?
no, I started talking, I realized I was on mute, but, I think if we're listening to it, did you all notice the difference in that when we're talking about the meter, like intro is generally 4 bars or 8 bars or something, did you notice how long the intro was? And can anybody
5.
count
Yeah.
how long the tag was?
4
Yeah.
to 6. I put 4 to 6.
So the intro is like 12 bars. So,
Oh.
which
And
is,
because it's so quick like that, it's in 2 instead of 4. You know,
Oh, okay. Okay.
so
okay.
that's why 1, 2,
Okay.
2,
Yeah,
2, 3,
exactly.
2, 4.
and the choruses, we're used to 8 bar and 16 bar choruses, but did you notice this one?
Mhm. Well, how many bars was this one? Did anybody notice?
Did you notice how many bars this is? The chorus. And it seems that it only grabs you a little bit, but it does because I mean, once again, if you're not looking at it, it isn't.
You
It
don't,
doesn't
yeah.
get you because you're so taken, as Jean says, you're watching so many things. But
Yeah.
but it's a 20 bar chorus, and then it repeats a 20 bar chorus, and it's like, it's just, it's just a little off-putting, you know.
Yeah. And because it had, an intro, verse, chorus, tag, we don't usually sing a song that long. Number one, because stamina is right. But this is a top-notch chorus that can do a song like that, but it's not your typical proper form for a contest song, you know.
Yep.
So let's go
Did it
back and
not bother, did it bother anybody at all? That particular, you were just a little off with it,
Yeah.
or were we just all too, once again, we're listening to a championship chorus, and sometimes I think it's more difficult to catch those things because it's like, how could it be wrong? The rich tones are doing it, you know?
yeah. So they weighed, should we we're taking a risk because it really isn't gonna, the 30% part of the score is not going to be as strong because the form was off. But we sing the snot out of it,
Is this from a musical? Because to me it sounded like, I mean, obviously barbershop style with the harmony, but
Yeah.
what you just said, Judy, they got away with because it was like a really tight, strong chorus performance in a musical where musicals have all sorts of odd things.
Once again, if it didn't call attention to anything, then it was okay. It's like Jean says, we're not sitting there counting the number of measures going down. I think in our last group in Act 1, Jan Meyer was a part of our group, and she,
Yeah.
of course, is a music judge. And I believe, as I recall, she wouldn't be telling stories out of that she really hates this song.
She
And
was
when,
the judge for this, I think, maybe. Yeah.
as a judge, when this song comes on, because it's like, oh, please. Anyway,
Yeah.
but I don't know that that had anything to do with the form, but I do remember that about her. It was like going, that
Yeah.
I hated to have to judge this song, and I don't even remember what it was, but it was just funny to hear her say that.
Yeah,
She was
yeah.
in the pit when they sang this, and she's like going, "Oh my God, this song."
Oh, yeah.
For those of you
Because
that, when
no,
you
even as you're writing, you get so mixed up because it doesn't follow the. So you're writing a comment about something, and then all of a sudden you notice the form is off. Oh, then you write about that, then you miss something else because it just go 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 go. go.
So
It's
they
hard.
had this thing, and I can't remember, was it Del Shannon or something, but in America, this is a very popular song in, I think, in the 60s or the whatever, like the night has 1,000 nights. And it was, but it's like they've done it as a blazing uptune, you know, but we were used to as in Americans, that was a very popular song. I guess Elizabeth and Donna would have to back me on that one maybe, but that we remember the night as 1,000 eyes, but it was a whole nother kind of a thing. It was not an uptune.
Different
Well,
style used.
it was a night as 1,000 eyes and 1,000 nights. It was like fun instead of a driving uptune. But anyway, I just wondered if anyone, if that and probably it didn't bother anybody.
Oh,
I
it did me.
Yeah.
I
Did
thought
it?
they went so fast. If you didn't already know the words, you'd have no clue what they were saying. It was
Yeah.
so fast.
Yep,
Mm.
yep.
And my guess is, perhaps that wasn't their best performance of this either. Like, oh, it sounded great at rehearsal last week. And did you ever get on stage and the tempo gets away from you and you go faster than what you planned? Could have been something like that too. Who knows? But it's like, wow, that's the chance you take. Let's go
So
back and listen.
can I
Yeah, go
check
ahead.
on the form because I'm still confused.
Yeah, that's what
So
we
it
were
was-
going to go back and do. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Excellent. So the intro, odd number of bars, then 16 bar verse, then 20 bar chorus, key change, 16 bar verse, 20 bar chorus, and then again, weird number of bars in the tag. Is that right?
Yeah,
I
kind
think
of.
you got it. You got it.
Okay.
Yeah, wow. How many times
So
did you have to listen to it to figure that out?
Well, I had all the sort of bar sections written down, but I'd completely mischaracterized where the chorus was and didn't have verses.
Ah, yeah,
was
yeah,
very
yeah.
confused.
Gotcha. Yeah,
I have
yeah.
to say, the thing that really stuck out to my ear in this whole thing, though, wasn't form first. It was the minor mode of that key, of that
Good
chorus,
girl.
that kind of came out of nowhere in terms of the mode of the rest of the song. So
Yes.
every time we went into that sort of key refrain, I found that my ear was, it was jarring to my ear.
Yes, good job. Good ear.
And
Yes.
it's almost like modal. Like this to me, I didn't watch it till now. I did it properly. I didn't watch it. And
Good.
they're actually doing things that actually seem like a little bit Orientalism and things that are actually not very PC. This song actually sounds like it's from that 60s area where they refer to other cultures' music. And I think it's a bit appropriating. It's not just minor. It's not just minor. It's actually modal. Like it sounds like
Yeah.
it's trying to simulate another culture's music, which again makes it not really.
Oh.
I know it's an
That-
American popular song, but it's not American popular song form in its
Form. Yeah.
basic
And you
in
know,
its basic sheet music.
that's a terrific point that you're making there, but I think it's like what we remember that they say that you're a round lover. I mean, the whole thing, I don't get any message from the song at all. I only go that it starts here and it goes here and it goes like blue blazes.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
go-
you know what? Lots of uptunes though are not about what the heck were the words. It's just about,
Mhm.
tapping your foot and it keeps the beat going. Yeah. There are lots of uptunes like that though. But good ear that you noticed that here we are, the hook of the song, Night of 1,000 Nights, was all in minor mode, which does not score well. Like now I remember my chorus sang oh, what the heck was it? When the red robin goes bob 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 and along, and the whole verse was in minor mode. But then when you get to when the red robin, that's all in major mode. And I took it to a music judge. I mean, I knew what my opinion was as a music judge, but then I checked with other music judges, like, is it okay to do this? This whole first part is all minor. And they said, you know what? It's okay that the whole first part is all minor. if it eventually goes into major, and it was kind of like then 3/4 of the song was in major mode, but the first part of the song was in minor mode. But in this arrangement, it went from major to back to minor when they got to the chorus, back to major, for the verse, and back to minor. So was it too many minor modes? I don't know. It had to affect the strong harmonization of the song. When you look at the music category and it talks about the harmonization stuff, especially being on the hook of the song. Yeah, interesting. So do you want to go back and listen to the odd numbers of intro, or are you okay with that?
Do it again.
Huh?
Let's count them off. What do you say?
Yeah, okay. Let's see. I think I'm kind of back where it starts. Here we go.
By the way, I said Del Shannon, it's Bobby V.
And keep this in mind that when it's quick like this, it's not 1, 2, 3, 4. It's in 2. 1, 2, 2, 2. Keep that in mind.
Very careful what you do, there may be someone watching you. Remember those eyes in the night, the night, the night.
Wow. So could you find the 12 measures when you count it in twos like that? Yes, no?
I thought
it
it was 10 with a big rit.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
kind of
It
was. Yeah, it really kind of was. Yeah.
I don't disagree with you on that at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet the way they held it, I guess if you kept counting the way they held it, and might have equaled out. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna listen to that again, because that's been done before too on the piece of music. It's 12 bars, but because of the way they held it, it sounded like 16 bars. I don't know. Let's try that again. Let's see, where was that? 8 something. There we go. Huh?
Very careful what you do, there may be someone watching you. Remember those eyes in the night, the night, the night.
16 2. See, because of the way they held it with the number of counts, it kind of came out to 16. So sitting in the pit and listening to that, I don't know that I would notice that was off because of the way they, held on to it at the end. But yeah, interesting. Okay, so now the next part is a verse. That's 16. Let's see. They had a ba 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 ba. I'll do the end of the intro again. Oh shoot!
My eye doctor said I should
Oh, come on with it.
throw out my nuts to improve my vision. Here's why.
Before you go to bed tonight, drink a glass of this and
Dad.
surprise your doctor on your next eye exam.
And so we are
Oh,
now.
wait a minute now. It went. I don't know. I must have bumped something. Okay, let me go back to. I can find it again. Here we go. Interesting.
Very careful what you do, there may be someone watching you. Remember those eyes in the night, the night, the night.
Okay, so here comes the verse.
They say that you're a run lover, though you say it isn't so. Though you say it ain't so, but if you put me down for another, I'll know, believe me, I'll know.
There's the chorus. Another verse. Chorus. Whoa, that's more than 16. Yeah. Wow. That was more than 16 on the tag there. It's like, wow, they just gonna be adding another little thingy. And it's like, because we can, haha, you know. Woo!
That was like a tag with a tag.
Yes, exactly. Wow. But could you see how you can find out where but it just ran one right into the other. And I think the overall reaction of this, I mean, I wonder, the first time I watched this, I was like, all it did was make me go, this song is too long, too long. And actually, if you look at it, what the form is for a contest song, it is too long.
But it's only 2 minutes long. I checked.
Yeah, okay.
I checked for that reason, and I was like,
Wow.
whoa.
Yeah, but doesn't it feel long?
It doesn't give you any, it doesn't give you enough contrast. It doesn't give you any breaks to like catch your breath
Yes.
and then rev up again. The whole thing is like 90% from the beginning. So it doesn't actually have that range.
Right. Yeah. Maybe that's why it felt like it was like, this goes on forever and ever. Yeah. Can you imagine trying to sing it and have stamina and
And
jeez.
dance.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. Incredible. But wow. Yeah. Okay, so some of the let's look at some of the other things about this. Let's see. We talked about the minor chords at the thousand eyes bit at the beginning of every chorus. Yeah. Yeah. And so that really makes the whole thing kind of weak harmonically. And if you ever look at the music score sheet, it up at the top left, it says something about form and harmony and blah blah blah. So I'd probably make a little comment about how there were a lot of minor chords in this song and a lot of secondary chords. You know, there weren't a whole lot of barbershop sevenths in this song. So if you could listen fast enough. Okay, so did you go back then and listen? Did you notice anything about each part that what
Yeah, I
is
was
it
just gonna say, I'm sorry, Gina, I said something and then I realized I was on mute, but
oh, okay, sorry.
it was a follow-up to what you said. But I was just gonna say, I think that the really interesting thing as arrangers that's good to think about doing is that did you notice that the melody switched very, very coolly to the basses?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah,
And it was a smooth transition the way they did it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that they in the second chorus when the basses get the melody, and it makes it become for a song that's kind of a little monotonous, if you will. With the night is a thousand eyes, you know, but with the basses coming in with the melody, it's a good thing, is it? Did you notice that? Did you like that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So that's another little trick to put in your bag of tricks, you know. How can you give it variety? You can give the melody to the basses, or you know, something like that. Yeah. That scene, we saw that in the other song too, that the melody went to the basses for part of it. Yeah. So how about did you notice anything about that what did the different parts do to help make this song so wonderful?
But there was a good balance between open and closed voicing.
Yeah, good.
A lot of back and forth going, you know.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Yeah. So a lot of times, some of the harmony parts were, if they didn't have the melody, they were like the underlying pulse or the rhythm that they had really kept the tempo going, right? So that was one of the things they used. And sometimes it was like super busy with all the other parts. It's like, where's the melody? Where's the melody? Let's see, what else do they have here? Yeah. So I think the way this tempo was so quick. Now, I don't know about your chorus, but many times my chorus was notorious for the basses always being behind. And I mean, our skills got better. We got past that, but I can remember that, And here are these basses. When they had the melody, they had to keep it going, right? And still keep it in tempo and stuff. I think that's a pretty amazing bass section that they could do that. Definitely not a C-level chorus. Woo, yeah. So, all right. So was there a climax to this song?
I felt like it was in the tag, maybe.
That's what I put.
Yep, exactly. Yep, that was it, man. No time for a climax anywhere else because I kept going and going and going and going like the Energizer Bunny. Oh, wow.
Okay, in that question, it says, is the performed climax congruent with the composer or arranger's intended climax? How do we know what their intentions were?
Ah. But I think with a song like this, because they treated it as a driving up tune, there wasn't much of a choice other than to do it right at the end. I mean, because it would just stop. I think it would, if they tried to do a climax somewhere before the tag, I think it would put such a halt, a screeching halt on the driving tempo that it would make it feel funny. But that's just my opinion. I don't know. What do you think, Judy?
Yeah, I think that's it's hard to find like what we call like the climax for everything, but I think that when it gets to just remember when you tell those little white lies that the night has 1,000 eyes. I mean, it's not a traditional high point of the song, but
Yeah.
I think they made it a high
Yes.
point. Sure.
So
Yeah.
here's another example of a song that really didn't have a high point, but the arranger had to create something to put a high point in the song. Yeah. Yeah. And they did it with dynamics and stuff. And actually the chords moving up too. Yeah. Whew. Just makes me exhausted. I'm ready for a nap. Ah. Wow. Anything else we want to bring up about this song?
I noticed that in the, I think it was in the tag or towards the end, the arranger used a lot of different rhythmic patterns, like a lot of triplets or tuplets.
Yeah.
Seemed like that was
Good.
nice.
And why do you suppose the arranger did that?
I think just to increase the intensity in the end, to just bring out something new and different, because the whole thing is such a huge driver all the way through. It's just, you got to do something different to make it stand out, make it shine somehow in the end there.
Well done. Well done. So something to think about when you're doing your own arrangements. What can you do as you're getting near the tag of the song? What can you do to make it even more interesting? Yeah. Cool.
Notice that in that part where the triplets and tuplets were going on, it seemed like all voice parts were making big jumps, which I think would be difficult for a singing chorus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good observation. Yeah.
And I think, that you're talking about the rhythmic things like that, that it says, we talk about this thing they described it as relentless. I mean, the drive of this arrangement, right? It just keeps going and going and going. That in fact, sometimes we can just get overdone with things. You had some rhythmic interest that it showed there with those different kind of things, but sometimes, and I noticed that it gets almost, I myself had trouble saying the night has 1,000 eyes. I mean, that's hard to say, much less the night is, fast, right? So if we do that, but the lyrics at times when everything is so frantic, becomes a little garbled, doesn't it? And that's what we, in keeping this tempo, what you for sure would say, as Jean would say, the music judge is gonna say, yep, you started the tempo aggressive and you kept it.
Yeah.
On the way there, what did we get from that? A relentless drive of a thing there, but did we really get much of those lyrics? Did we get much of the meaning of a song? If that's what we have to do, to do that kind of thing. And that again is going to be a choice, not only of an arranger, but of a director of how they're going to do it. I wonder what happens if it got done at a somewhat less frantic pace by average chorus.
Yeah.
Brings us back to that thing again. Well, the night has that, instead of
Yeah. Be a
bang,
whole
bang,
different
bang,
take.
but I think that, look, that if we got too much stuff going on, too much interest in our arrangement, try to, you want to keep not just a bunch of held notes, you want things to embellish them, but you don't want to over embellish them.
Yeah.
And there may be perhaps a bit of over embellishment. And God
I think that's what made it sound.
about what Dale Syverson was doing, but
Yeah.
but I'm just saying is
Well, what they
analyze it.
what they could have done is kept how amazing all that stuff was near the end, but had a much simpler
Yes.
first half that still had a driving tempo, but a much simpler, cleaner, more homophonic. And
Right.
then once we got the lyrics and the message, then we could break out into it. And it probably would have been more effective, because I think the climax, I'm just looking at that, and I think the reason the climax worked is they actually went quiet before it, and there were so few places where it was simple. And so
Yeah.
I think the arrangement overall needed more shape. It was just like 90%, 90%, 85%, 100%,
Yeah.
Right.
So I think keeping that complicated stuff later could be very exciting if it didn't start with it.
Right. Well
But I
said.
think you hit on a very important point as an arranger, to find out that you can't just start from here and go to here all the same thing. We need opportunity for the listener and the singer to be able to breathe and enjoy what's going on without just hitting us with it over and over again.
Yeah.
That's what
yeah.
I think this particular thing does. It's like, particularly if you are only listening and not watching. Of course, if
Yeah.
you're watching, then they're just mesmerizing you with all the
Oh, yeah.
that they do, which is always so amazing. But
It's like the term cheating the loud, like where you cheat the loud, where you go a little bit quieter so it sounds bigger by contrast. We probably need to think of what arranging tools we can do. You simplify something more than you wanted eventually, so that
Right.
what you want eventually sounds more exciting by contrast.
and so
Great.
that it builds, Abigail, it I think is what I hear you saying. It
Yeah.
builds to something instead of starting bam, but it goes to here and finally comes to this. That's
So how
that-
could they have done it though? But is that possible with this one?
Yeah.
Could they have?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think how they could have.
yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, the having the different rhythms going on all the time like that is what makes it sound so busy and and so exhausting. It's hard enough to keep a song together at that tempo when you're all singing the exact same rhythms, let alone when all this other stuff is going on, So
Yep.
perhaps the first time through, although I didn't analyze it that much, shouldn't have had so many different rhythms in there. Everybody homophonic singing the same rhythms would even that would be simpler than adding all the vocal gymnastics. Yeah.
Yep. It's tough.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else about this song that we want to talk about before we move on? All righty. We're going to go on now to, who's this? Metro Nashville, I think. And they are doing If Ever I Would Leave You. Okay. Let's see.
I look for love through all my life. Finally I found you. Now you ask of me
Wow. Was this around 20 or something when it started? I can't remember.
It's
All
thrilling.
right.
isn't it?
Wow. Yeah. Abby, don't forget to unmute yourself. Okay. Wow. That's an amazing song. Amazing. Yeah, wow. So what was the, tell me the form of this song. Did it have an intro?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And then what was next?
I think it was verse. It was a verse chorus, kind of a combination of the two, verse chorus. It was hard for me to tell if it was verse and then chorus or if it was just chorus.
Yeah. How about the rest of you?
Oh, straight to
called it-
chorus.
I called it a chorus.
Yeah.
Chorus, chorus,
Yeah.
2 choruses in a row.
Yeah. It really didn't have a verse in it at all. In fact, I don't even know. Well, I suppose there's a verse. I don't even know if there's a verse to this song. Is there?
Was there an interlude between the 2 choruses? A little bit of something?
Well, actually, that was a different section of the song, of the chorus. Go ahead. What were you going to say? Somebody was going to say something.
I had chorus, chorus, short verse, faster, short chorus.
Okay. So tell me what,
But
what-
because of the lyrics, because of the beautiful poetic form of the lyrics about the seasons, it kind of has that natural progression. Yeah. So I had chorus, chorus, short verse, chorus, short.
Okay. So
I don't know.
tell me.
Plus intro and tag. Yeah.
What part was the short version? Which part of
The
the song?
faster bit. The faster bit.
Da, da, dee, da, 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 merrily
Yeah,
through
yeah,
the
yeah,
snow.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Different key too, isn't it? So it's could be an interlude. I don't know.
So what was the form in the chorus?
Oh,
Ah!
you didn't ask us to do that.
I'm just asking, you know.
Was it ABAC?
No.
No.
Okay, so the first part of the song is if ever I would leave you, da 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 da. Here's the next part of the song. If ever I would leave you, da 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 da. So is that the same thing twice?
Yeah.
Yeah, so far it's AA. Maybe a prime at the end there. It's a little different at the end of it then. And then here's the next section. No. So what letter would that be?
B.
B, I guess. That's what I was calling the interlude.
Yeah. And then the next part goes back to if ever I would leave you. Da, 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 da. So what is that part?
A.
Yeah. So what is the form of this song?
AABA.
AABA.
So this is where I get confused in terms of listening instead of seeing the dots, right? Because I was hearing it as 8 bars, 8 bars, 8 bars, 8 bars, and then interlude, then reprise. So within that, it was.
Gotcha.
The form is then completely different. So how do you know how quickly you're counting the beats? We said this about the rich tones as one as well. You know,
Yeah.
You're counting double time versus 4/4.
Yeah.
How do you? Is this just practice from listening and checking that sheet music for corresponding charts? How do you know?
Yeah. Well, I listen for similarities in the tune. I listen for usually in a barbershop arrangement, there's usually some repeat of A, whether it's AABA or ABAC or, you know, usually something repeats. And so I try to concentrate on the beginning of the chorus is going to be the first letter of the alphabet, you know. So I try to listen to how does that tune go, And when do I hear that tune come back? Do I hear it come back right away? Do I hear something like totally different? So when it's time for a new section to start, and I guess maybe that's just from listening to lots of things. I mean, I don't know. I had a lot of musical training on phrasing. So I guess I don't know. Judy, can you help us out with that? That's what my brain does. I don't know what anybody else does.
It's funny thing about this is that I always think about Sharon Bab saying, there are times when you just put your pencil down and just enjoy it. And all I can say is that, I mean, I don't even want to try, and I know I'm supposed to, but I mean, it doesn't matter to me because it's just
Because it's beautiful.
so beautifully done that I don't even want to make a comment.
That doesn't help them figure out how to figure out form.
I know. I'm sorry. I apologize.
That's cute though. The weird thing about this form, and one of the reasons you were having so much trouble, Emily, is normally a song that's AABA or ABAC, each section is the same number of measures. And this one was not. And that's what made it confusing. You know, the first part A was, well, if you counted it out, it's 16 measures long.
Right.
And then the next part A, because it was the same, is 16 measures long. The next part of the tune that was totally different, da 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 da, was not 16 measures.
Yeah,
It was 8,
yes.
which is very unusual. I mean,
That's
very
why I called it
peculiar.
a 32 bar chorus so that it would
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Right.
So it's kind of like the interlude of the chorus or something. Yeah. And then it went back to A, which was 16 again. And that's really highly unusual. So, so even though it sort of had a form, that's why I brought it up, because even though you could kind of hear a AABA, it wasn't the true American song form that we use for contest, because that one B section was so much shorter. But go figure.
So how from a music judge perspective, Jean, how is this not a disqualifiable offense? I thought it was in the rules that it needed to be 32 or 40 bars.
Well, the only specific thing it says in the rules is that every contest song has to have a chorus, has to have a refrain. That really is the only thing it has to have. Although we always do an intro and a tag and sometimes a verse and stuff. But it would not score, it would not be in the 30% part of the score. It would not be as strong of a score because part B was a smaller section, a shorter section. So to me, this is not, it's gorgeous, it's beautiful. See, but there were two kinds of music judges, the ones that want to keep it square barbershop and the ones that want to go out and be more creative. And I'm sorry, I'm the one that wants to keep it square barbershop. And so it would not, it's not as strong of a vehicle for the 30% part of your score because that form is off. Yeah. So, but how much would it affect it? You know, here's the thing you weigh. That's 30% of your score. Performing it is 70% of the score. So, gosh, this is just like Judy said, you put your pencil down and go, oh my God, because the performance of it was outstanding. And yet this part of the score might be a little bit lower. I don't know, what would it be? 5 points less or something? I don't know. Everybody has their own way of figuring that out. But it's a toughie. It's a tough call.
But then you hear that bass swipe and you forgive them everything.
Yeah, exactly. So the points they lost over here, they gained over here with that bass swipe, you know. So it's like, holy moly. Yeah.
Yeah, they had some things that they did in this that as a ranger we might want to have as an option to do if you had the basses that could do that. If you good, if not something else. And I think it's wonderful to have a dramatic choice like that. But they do have This course does have incredible skills, and once again, it's difficult to find the challenging parts here when they do it all so beautifully. But definitely some of the things that they're doing, I was trying to think of something else besides that face swipe, but that was like so difficult. And for an average course, not even a C, but a B or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
be very difficult to do. But once again, it's a good thing for us to have in our bag of tricks that we want to try it. But maybe sometimes knowing that there's an alternate, you see that sometimes. That's no, but that did not come out of the arranger's book. That's just my thoughts for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you have this and say, this is an alternate to this. If you have if you have the group with the chops to do it. If you don't, here's another fine choice.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely stretch yourself to keep thinking of those cool things to do, because that's what makes it exciting. And yeah, I think.
So what did you notice? I mean, the basses did that. Did you notice any other thing about some of the parts that made this so gorgeous, made it so beautiful?
The tenors went really high at the end also, at the
Yeah.
very last little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They did
And
a
lots of
beautiful
really
job.
nice like 3-chord swipes.
Ah, yes.
Like lots of, like they moved through, rather than having an echo, they'd have like 3 or 4 chords in a row that moved, and that made it really nice and smooth.
Yeah. What did that do? That made it have forward motion. So that really helped propel the song into the next phrase. And that's what forward motion is. Instead of just, we called it flatlining. Like if you had where you just go, you don't want to do that. You want it to propel into the next phrase. And so using those swipes that way really helped keep the forward motion going. Yeah.
There were also a couple of really beautiful breaks right around the first line, I think, of the last chorus.
Uh-huh.
Now they pulled out first they had a break after the interlude, and then, I mean, a complete break. And then they pulled out the one line and they did it really softly.
Yeah.
And then they had another big break, and then they came back in, and that gave it real dynamics, real beautiful.
Yes. Made it very emotional and passionate. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So where was the climax in this song?
Leave you, no.
End
No,
of the tag.
exclamation mark.
Okay. Leave you? No, not at all. Okay. Where was the end of this song? Did anybody pay attention? I want to listen to the ending again.
I think it was in the second chorus.
Yeah. You know what the timing was? I don't know how long this went. Maybe around there? I'm guessing. I don't know. Oh, it wasn't there.
I had around 3:33.
Oh, okay. Let me try that. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's back that up a little bit there.
Not in springtime or summer, winter or fall. No, never could I leave you. No, not at
Wow. I kind of heard 2 spots. Did you kind of hear 2 spots? I
You
mean,
know
there
what
was,
I wanted to say about that tag that made it so exciting that we can take a takeaway from that is that everybody wasn't all on the chord to start with, that the chord kind of built in. Did you hear it? I mean, that we're here, and then this part comes in and whatever. I think it's really something we're studying, how that particular tag was built.
Wow.
And what made it so climactic. And I'd love to have you all play with that to find
Oh, wow.
in,
Yeah.
in an arrangement. I mean, it isn't going to be on Only Me or Who'll Dry Your Tears, perhaps, but
Mhm.
but and maybe not even on Down on the Farm. However,
It'd be hard on down on the farm.
it could be. But I mean, it just that kind of thing is just a extremely exciting,
Powerful.
powerful tag that it's like you hear this and all of a sudden you know something and you wait for it and boom, it comes in, doesn't it?
So
Did it
what
for
where did
everybody?
what word did that happen on? Judy,
Um,
do you recall?
Well, now I
I
can't
don't know.
say.
Let's go back and listen again.
Yeah, let's listen again. I think it's worth listening to. Yes.
Oh shoot! What did you tell me it was? 3 something?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll see if that was.
Oh no, not in springtime or summer, winter or fall. No, never could I leave you.
Was that the climax?
Not
Or woo! So where was that, Judy, that you were talking about?
But at the very end, that no, not at.
Oh,
Yeah, that is
Mhm.
just so powerful right there, I think.
Mhm.
The whole tag is just,
Right? It just seems like one climax after another to me. I
yeah,
don't know
it is.
if
And
that's
it is,
such
it's
a
not
thing.
too much. It's not, is it? Does
Yeah.
anybody think it's not too much? It just keeps building and keeps you wanting to get more, and then you get more. And then finally,
Yeah.
I found it
So
odd that it went to the leave you know where I thought the climax was, then it goes quiet. And I actually think it could have just gone to a quiet ending. That's a little bit unusual how quiet they got before getting loud again. Normally you would not performance-wise bring it down that much
right.
before a loud.
That was kind of
ending.
like to me, that was kind of like a
Fake.
weakness in their performance of it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
expect it to then go
Yeah.
down if you're going to go down.
Mhm. Because that never could I leave you. No, was really cool. But then if they would have just kept, cheat the loud a little bit, keep on
Yeah, a little
building
bit,
it,
but not that much.
and that
Yeah.
oh, which is so cool too. And then because I think they lost vocal stamina there, which could to me affected their performance of the ending of the song. But
Yeah, like their final chord was strong, but it should have grown, and it didn't really the way you sort of expect it.
yeah,
Like it was loud, but it wasn't like boom.
yeah,
But I don't know if that's performance or arrangement.
yeah. I think it was like the performance of it, because I
Yeah, I
think
think
the
it
way
was
it's
performance.
arranged, was really good, really brilliant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I think we could have maybe an intended climax with that never would I leave you. No, that
mhm.
was maybe the intended, but then another one happened along the way, didn't it?
Yeah.
At the end of that tag, not at all, that all to me
Yeah.
became maybe the second climax, or it kind of eclipsed the
Yeah.
one. And I thought it was interesting where Kim turns out, and then
Yeah.
when she turns back in, as it see when she turns back in, not at all, and it goes down and then comes back up again. Yeah, it's a very fascinating
I wonder, oh, is that where the music got weird when she turned? See, because I just listen and I don't look. Oh, now I
Oh,
gotta
yeah.
go watch
Yeah,
it again.
she brought them down on a swipe, but it seemed like bad communication, possibly visual
Yeah.
communication with her.
Yeah, like they kind of blew it there or something. Wow. Let's see where that is. Oh, shoot. Too far. Wait, let me go back a little. Oh, kind of bottomed out there. Yeah. It's almost, yeah. It's almost like they ran out of steam to make that be so powerful. Yeah.
So you guys didn't like that when it got soft and then it came back up again? Is that what you were saying? Is that?
It felt like it wasn't supported or like it went too far soft, you know?
If it was good, I thought it was going to then be a quiet ending. It was like too much of a
Ah.
contrast, and it lost its momentum.
Yeah. Yeah. See, it just
So
lost its stamina.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. But my goodness, what a beautiful song, you know, beautiful. Very barbershoppy? No, but here again, it's another one of those songs like, okay, so the 30% isn't perfect, you know, but oh my gosh, what you can do as singers to perform that song. Wow. Man, incredible. Yeah. Let's see what else we need to talk about here. Yeah. Yeah. So we talked about how the swipes helped it propel the forward motion. Yep. Yeah. So even though this song, particular piece of music has a lot of secondary chords in it, you know, there weren't a lot of barbershop sevens in the overall harmonic progressions in the song. And yet it felt barbershoppy on the swipes. Did anybody notice that?
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
when you were talking about those three chords that went into the next thing, that part felt very barbershoppy. So it's kind of brilliant arranging. Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
Any other thing we want to say about this song?
Who
Regarding
arranged this chart? Does anyone know?
I believe it's Renee Craig.
Ah, okay.
Mm,
Sorry, Abby.
Yeah, I think
that's
that
right.
was it.
Regarding forward motion, I put, and I noticed with another song later, I think I noticed that this had a lot of motion mid phrase where they'd quickly get through words, and then the ends of phrases they'd sort of savor a bit more. And I thought that was interesting that worked, because we normally think about the end of the phrase needs to go somewhere, but I found it actually worked in this case to be like da 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 da, and it gave you enough pause for thought. So I thought forward motion happened mid phrase.
Excellent. Yes. The
Mhm.
musical phrasing that they used was excellent. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else we want to say about this song before we go on?
Jean, I'd like to just say when the if not about this song, but that we wanted to confirm. I wanted to confirm these dates.
Okay.
That we had next on Tuesday the 2nd was talking about intros, and you'll get more about that later. And then on the 30th and the 30th of September, the 1st of October, we had, right?
Right.
Which we will finish up with the at that point with the arrangement analyzation, right? And we will then somehow we'll continue with the I'm a little confused about what it is that, where we're gonna go from there, because, before we go to the, putting together the verse, the chorus, the intro, the tag, etc. for
Right,
down on the farm, right? Yeah,
yeah.
so, that we have that down, and, just looking through my things here.
So- Well, wait, I'll back up a little ways. So,
Yeah.
does everybody have enough brain power to do one more of these tonight? Or, I mean, because we were trying to get through 4 of them, so we only would have 2 to do next time. Is everybody okay with doing one more yet?
Mhm.
Yes, okay. So, the next one, Judy, the intros and tags and stuff, that's the one I can't be there because I'm
Right.
on a trip. So, are you going to do the next 2 of these listening
No,
things?
no, no, no,
Right.
we will only do intros and tags.
Okay,
That's all. And then probably on the 30th, it will be a continuation of that. And then the
Okay.
last of these, I just thought we were
okay,
gonna do the 3 tonight and then finish those up.
okay, that's a
Adam
good
was
idea.
there, and I told him
Because
he
I
could-
really would like to be there for that part. So is that all right with everybody? So the next time we meet will be about intros and tags. And Judy will be doing that one. And that is on when? Friday, is it? Or
September
is that?
2nd or September 3rd for our
Okay.
A
At,
Stranger's
at the
Look.
same time as this one?
Yeah, right?
Okay. 5 o'clock Central Time. Okay.
Yep.
And that one is only one night. It's not going to be 2 nights in a row, right?
Right.
Okay. And then the next one after that is
September 30th and
um,
October 1st that we have, where we can finish up these listening arrangements and finish up anything that we'll have, because at that point, probably on the intros and tags, before we
Right.
work on the next thing.
right. In the meantime, couldn't they also be during this time working on their? Did we already do? I don't know where we are on down on the farm. Did we do verse and chorus? So we should be working on putting that whole song together, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Putting
Okay.
the whole song together, that's right. But
Right.
but
We don't want to do that until after we do intros and tags.
Which whole song are we talking about?
Down on the farm, like
Oh.
at the end of oh, let's see. I don't remember. I don't have it up in front of me here. Is it at the end of activity 4 is when we're supposed to be doing down on the farm?
Yes, we will, we'll talk about the, yeah, that you have arranged them previously and now you can choose to put them together. You can add the intro, the tag, and any other element. You can redo what you've done. You can do whatever. You could use as many or as few of extra measures. Whatever you want to make it a complete song. Okay, and we'll talk more about that with the intros and the whatever on that day,
Yeah.
on that time. And probably catch up with that a little bit on, I wasn't even gonna talk about that much until we were done with this listening, and after we've done the intros and tags, we'll talk about it a little bit. But then in the next one, we'll talk about all the elements putting together this song. And I think a continuation, because I'm just gonna do the beginning of some of the examples of the intros, the tags, that general thing, but it's a big subject. And I'd like to have, I mean, I want to do something with you with that, but then that we'll want to have Jean, of course, to help us with that, so that next thing, the end of September, will continue with that and do the end of the, however it works out, the listening thing and that, but so
Okay.
we'll have a complete weekend of doing the best that we can with presenting all of this.
Right. Right. Yay. So
That's why
why don't we plan on Friday, September 30th just that night being a continuation of the intros and tags thing. And then on Saturday, October 1st is when we'll finish the listening stuff. Will that work?
Sure, yeah, however that works, that's fine.
Yeah, oh yeah, we'll play it by ear, how that's going, yeah. So okay, here's my big question. Who's gonna run the Zoom meeting? So do you have access to a Zoom account, Judy, or?
I'll use this one, right?
Okay, yeah, okay,
Yes.
I can set it up. I'll give you the information to set it up, but they're once again changing hands at headquarters, so somebody else will be in charge of that Zoom account by then. So hopefully we can still use it.
Okay,
Okay, cool. All right.
Okay, all right, so I've gotten confused. So on September 30th, we're now going to finish intros and tags. Is that what you just said?
Yes.
Okay, and then the next day, whichever day that is, October 1st for me,
Yeah.
then we're coming back to the rest of the listening that we didn't do tonight.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and then when do we start the Down on the Farm? What day is that? Or we haven't set that date yet?
but no, we'll be talking about it on September the 2nd, that putting it all together. You can be working on that however you want to. It's just to do the intro and the tag part is the confusing part, but we haven't talked about it that much. That's what we'll be talking about it. It won't be due for a while, but certainly you can be starting to see how you want it to be, how you want your song to be, you know.
Okay,
And looking back at it again, always after we've done something, and then after you've done all the things we've done, just as you've done with Who'll Dry Your Tears and Only Me, all of a sudden, you know, things clicked and you started, you know, making the adjustments and cleaning things up and making them more cleaner and more singable and more wonderful. That's what you'll start to do now. So, I mean, but it's not an assignment necessarily. But it's certainly, I'll be sending stuff out to you about the intros and tags before we get to September 2nd, so you can take a look at the things that we're looking at. And then we'll talk about them, okay?
okay.
Yeah, so what you want to be thinking about for Down on the Farm, we've already arranged the chorus part. We've already arranged the verse. And, you know, you may want to go back and fix some of that, but now you have to decide, how are you going to put this song together? Are you going to do intro, verse, chorus, tag? Are you going to do intro, chorus, verse, interlude, second chorus, tag? You know, that's what you have to decide. How do you want to put the song together for your final arrangement of Down on the Farm? And that needs to have an intro and a tag, but I would wait until you had the lesson on intros and tags before you tackle that. But you could be thinking about what kind of forms you want to do to put your song together, because we've seen different forms here where it was intro, verse, chorus, intro, you know, whatever. So you can be thinking about how you're going to put that together. All right.
And any kind of lyrical, you know, so that's already, but any kind of lyrical variations, or however you want your song to be. Is it going to be just a standard the way it was, or if you're going to, how it's going to become your song?
Yeah. I'm waiting for the more fun version.
What are you talking about? It's amazing. So inspiring.
Okay, so are we all set with our dates now that we can just listen to this one last group? Is everybody ready to do that? Okay.
I'm probably going to be getting out because I promised my husband he could go get our special food on Saturday night.
Oh,
And I'd be done at 6. So probably
Okay.
I will boogie on out when he gets here. Sorry.
okay. So, but we're all set with dates and stuff, right? So,
Yeah.
okay. All right, here we go. We're going to now listen to Zing singing, oops, I got the wrong song up here. Oh, you turn the tables on me. So we're going to just listen to the performance.
How can it be you made a wreck out of me? You turned the tables on me, plain to see, and now I'm falling for you. You turned the tables on me, yes sirree. I can't believe it's true. I always thought when you brought the lovely presents you bought, why hadn't you brought me more? But now if you come, I'd welcome anything from the 5 and 10 cent store. You call me the top, I was the top. You put me up on a throne. I fell with a drop, and now I'm out on my own. I'm on my own. After thinking it over and over, I got what was coming to me. And just like the sting of a bee, you turn the tables on me. Turn the tables, you told me. I was the top, right on top. You let me fall with a drop, quite a drop, 'cause I'm out on my own. After thinking it over and over and over and over and over again, yeah. Just like the sting of a bumblebee. How did this happen to me? I see that you turn the tables on me, and I'm in. Yes, it's true, I'm smitten with you. You gave me a shot. Now I'm in love, so in love.
Well, that was a fun performance of that song. Aha! Cool. All right. So, what was the form for this song? Did it have an intro?
Yes, but only 4 bars.
That's right. Just a little short intro. And so to me, the purpose of this intro was to grab your attention. You know, how can this be? You know, it just grabs your attention. Like, watch, wait till you hear this song. Is what it reminded me of. Yeah. Okay, and how about what was after the intro?
And the chorus.
Yep. Chorus. Yep. What was the form of the chorus? Anybody know? So when you're thinking about the tune of it, okay, yeah, it's pretty tricky. I don't know. Did I do my little twinkle twinkle little star demonstration before about form? You know, that's what you have to listen for when the melody changes. And so we have the turn table, da 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 da, yeah. And then da 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 so that's like the second part of the song. Here's the third part. The tables on me. And here's the fourth part. So, Eddie, did any of that stuff repeat?
A, B, A, C.
Yes, the A part repeated. Good job, Abby. You got it. Did everybody hear what Abby said? Say it again, Abby.
A, B, A, C.
Yeah. Could everybody tell that? Or not really? And if not, I want to help you figure out how to do that.
It helped with you singing it.
Yeah.
That helped.
I couldn't remember this melody. I don't know the song.
Exactly, yeah. You'd have to be familiar enough with the melody to know, yeah. Or it's, you know, you can't always catch it the first time you heard the song. Yeah.
I think why that's so hard, I always find these courses ridiculously long. And when you give the twinkle twinkle example,
yeah, it
it's
wasn't
not really a fair comparison because twinkle twinkle is like, I can remember that. But I find with these courses, I kind of go like, wait, is that the end of the phrase yet, or are we at the new section and then you get, is it the
Yeah.
second half of A or is it the first half of B? And then you
Yeah.
get kind of sidetracked, and then is it the chorus coming back or is it A coming back?
Yes.
You know?
Well,
So
yeah,
that's that
first of
counting
all,
thing.
yeah. Twinkle Twinkle Little Star only has 3 sections, where we're talking about songs that have 4 sections. So that's one thing that's kind of
That's not the
tricky.
confusing part.
Yeah. So, but I think the first time I listen to a song that I'm not familiar with, yeah, I do have to listen to it more than once. The first thing I do is really try to remember how the first part of the song goes, how part A goes, because 9 times out of 10, that part's going to come up again. And so the first time I listen to the song, I'll listen to the part A, and then I know it'll do something else, and eventually it'll come back to part A. Most songs do anyway. So then I have to wait until I hear that beginning of part A again, and then I'll go, oh, okay, that's the next part A. Then I have to go back and listen. Okay. I have to go back and listen. Okay, so I know here's where the song started, and then here's the second part A, and what happened in between here? When did that part change? And was it the same? Sometimes it's AA, BA. So was the in between something different, or because I have to listen to it more than once, especially when I'm not familiar with the tune, and then I can usually tell if I can find the part A's, then it's a little bit easier. And then what I would do is I would count how many measures are those part A's. Are they 8? They usually are, like, they could be 4 or they could be 8, depending on how you count it in 4 or in 2. And then then when I go back and listen, I'll count out the measures for the first 8 measures of part A, and then I'll listen right after that, like measure number 9. Does it go right back to part A again, or is it something different? And then my brain goes, oh wait, that was something different, so that must be B. So then I can start at the beginning again to be more familiar with A. I'll count out those 8 measures. I'll know, okay, here's where part B starts. And I start counting that for 8 measures. And then at the end of that 8 measures, is that when part A starts again? Or is it a totally different tune? Sometimes it's A, B, C, A. That's very unusual in barbershop though. But so that's kind of how I try to decide what is part A and what is part B. The first step is to find the part of the song that repeats. And if all the phrases are totally different, then that's a through composed song. Have you ever heard that term? And that means every phrase of the song is totally different. And for our definition of a strong barbershop competition song, that's not a good forum for contests, although it's out there. You Are My Sunshine. Have you ever heard that gorgeous arrangement of You Are My Sunshine? It's a beautiful song, but it's through composed. Yeah, each phrase is different. Yeah, but anyway, that's what I kind of do to listen for the form. So let's go back and listen to this now and see if we can figure out the form. We had that little intro.
How can it be you made a wreck out of me? You turned the tables on me, plain to see, and now I'm falling for you. You turned the tables on me, yes sirree. I can't believe it's true.
Here's the next part.
I thought when you brought the lovely presents you bought, why hadn't you brought me more? But now if you come, I'd welcome anything from the 5 and 10 cent store. You call me the top,
same
I
tune.
was the top. You put me
Words are different, but
up
same
on a
tune.
throne. I fell with a drop, and now I'm out on my own. I'm on my own.
The last part.
After thinking it over and over,
Different
I
again.
got what was coming to me. And just like the sting of a bee, you turn the tables on me.
Interlude.
Turn the tables, you told me. I was the
Oh,
top,
maybe. You know what? I
right
didn't count
on
it right.
top. You let me fall with a drop, quite a drop.
Wait, I didn't count that right. I'm misleading you. Sorry. That was part. Wait a minute. Let's go back again. I got to go.
And now,
Ah! Was this at the beginning? I think.
how can it be? You made a wreck out of me. You turned the tables on me, plain to see. And now I'm falling for you. You turned the tables on me, yes sirree. I can't believe it's true. I always thought when you brought the lovely presents you bought, why hadn't you brought me more? But now if you come, I'd welcome anything from the 5 and 10 cent store.
There we go.
You call me
Part
the
A.
top, I was the top. You put
that
me up on a throne. I fell with a drop, and now I'm out on my own. I'm on my own.
Part C.
After thinking it over and over, I got what was coming to me. And just like the sting of a bee, you turn the tables on me. Turn the tables, you.
Okay. So do you see how that works? Does that help any, or is that confusing? Or it is kind of confusing. Because every song's slightly different. But the trick was a lot of times in the barbershop arrangements, when it repeats part A, the first set of words are the same. Now this one, the second part A, the tune was the same, but the words were not. But when you're doing form, you're doing the tune, not necessarily the lyrics, you know? Right?
Sorry, I didn't catch. Did you say there was an interlude and then something? Can you repeat
Well,
that?
then it did. They did like a little extension. You turn the tables on me. You turn the tables. Turn the tables. And then it goes into I think like an interlude thing. Told you I was the top, right on top. But it's kind of like a variation of. It's kind of like the second half of the chorus again. Oh, it is a reprise. The second half of A again, with variations in it. You know, so it's like the A and the C again, but with a little bit different melody now, or A prime, they call that or something. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah. Hello? No, maybe not. I can't tell. All right. Yeah, it's like, okay, we're zoning out now. And that's all right there. Okay, so what was it about this song that, what did you notice in the different parts? What helped move this song along?
It's very homophonic,
Yes.
but very, very clear tempo driven.
Yes.
And you've still got some moderate embellishments just to make sure that you have momentum into the next phrase, but really it's quite restrained compared to the other arrangements we've listened to today.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, like I noticed that the baritone pretty much just followed the lead. She pretty much just duetted with the lead the whole time, which made it very solid.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I think she only gets one twiddly, doesn't she? You're turning the tables. That's it.
That's it. Exactly.
I put solo exclamation mark while it was an echo. I put an echo solo.
Exactly.
And they do some the drop embellishment is very cool.
Yeah.
The top goes up. Top and drop are just like the perfect examples of the, what do you call it? The onomatopoeia. What do you call it in this? Top is high, drop drops down.
Yes.
Lyric.
Do you know what I find odd about this arrangement though? The coolest embellishment on drop is the first time, not the repeat.
Yeah.
So I always have a longing for something more the second time because we've already hit that height.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
Now I've heard quartets do the second drop in different ways than what they did. You know, so some of them sound real droppy, but I like what they did because I never liked the original drop. You know, what they did was cool. Yeah, they really added a few little spunky things to this song that's not in the original arrangement, which made it even more fun. Yeah, cool. So right away you said, oh, it's more homophonic. So would you say this might be a simpler arrangement to perform than some of the other ones we listened to tonight? Yes. And how did you know that? How'd you know it was simpler?
I wasn't as tired at the end.
Yeah. You can just have fun with it, huh? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but the fact that you say it was more homophonic, that makes it an easier arrangement to perform. You know, where
And the lead line is great. Like I think the lead line would be very easy for a
Yes.
lower level singer.
Yes.
And it just flowed really nicely on its own, and everything just fit around the lead as it's meant to.
Yes, yes, exactly. So this particular arrangement, yes, a C-level quartet could sing it. Wouldn't score as high as what Zing did, but it would still score okay for them. You know, if the notes are in the range of the singers that are in that quartet, yeah. So this is a Nancy Bergman arrangement. She's really good at making simple arrangements that are fun, you know, and that are quite singable, and so that no matter what level you are singing, you could be successful with this arrangement. Yeah. So that's our whole goal for this whole program with in this cohort group, is to try to develop arrangers that can do arrangements like that a lot of groups could be successful in doing, you know. And not that we don't want you to also be the top-notch A-level arranger also, but yeah, we're trying to show you some skills to help you do that. Yeah, cool. So that was very, very fun. And they were really good with their emphasizing the rhythms the exact right way to make it be syncopated and stuff. Yeah, cool. Anything else
This
you
is one
noticed?
where you can really you know, like one of my friends who's a tap dancer, she's always like da 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 da. She
Yes.
always has like what the tap line would be, and this one everyone comes away knowing exactly what the tap line is,
Very
and they're
good.
really solid in that. Solid.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it makes the whole audience, you know, tap their feet
Yeah,
right along with
yeah.
them, which is so cool.
Which actually
too.
makes it more accessible to the audience as well, rather than going, whoa, this is
yeah, too much.
overwhelming. It's like, yeah, I could feel that. Yeah.
Yeah, uh-huh. Very good. Cool. So where is the climax in this song?
I said end of tag.
Yeah. Yep, I would say in the tag. Yep. So let's listen to the ending again, because that's where the climax is. You know, because this is I guess you would call this an uptune. Oops, I'm going too far. Oh, Lordy. You know, there's not much lyrical climax spots. It's mostly where they're singing, you know.
Before with a drop, quite a drop, 'cause I'm out on my own. After thinking it over and over and over and over and over again, yeah, just like the sting of a bumblebee. How did this happen to me? I see that you turn the tables on me, and I'm in. Yes, it's true, I'm smitten with you. You gave me a shot. Now I'm in love, so in love.
There it is. Yeah. Yeah, so that the climax in this one was right there at the tail end. Yep. And that was cool. They cheated the loud. Did you notice that, Emily? They cheated the loud on the I'm in love. Yeah. Very good.
I only just noticed, is that a tenor hanger with a note shift? That's really unusual, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So I didn't watch to see, did she switch? Or did somebody else switch and go higher?
She swipes, remaining on the
switches.
vowel while the others do lyrics.
Yeah.
But she changed her vowel.
Oh yeah, because what's a
Because
She started out
she
with
never really
love.
said the last word. She put the final consonant on it.
Oh yeah. So in love. I'm gonna have to back and listen to that again.
This happened to me. I see that you turn the tables on me, and I'm in. Yes, it's true. I'm
Love.
smitten with you. You gave me a shot. Now I'm in love. So in
Oh.
love.
Oh yeah. Oh, now that's professional, like a championship quartet. Yeah. Because she was actually holding love, but when they did I'm in love, she sort of modified her vowel without saying the word in. Love. Yeah.
And they had a whole bunch of ooh sounds in their patter. And so I thought her mouth was quite small, but she was
Yeah.
making it sort of an ooh, faking an ooh, and then switched to an ah.
Right.
That's
Right.
skill.
Yeah, she
That's
did that.
yeah, it is. Excellent. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So that was that particular performance of Turn the Tables was really very fun and exciting. And so when I hear like a C level quartet or a B level quartet sing it, it's nice, but it's not quite as exciting, because they kind of jazzed up the ending a little bit. It made it a little bit. So I don't know if you're familiar with the song, but the part that goes, after thinking it over and over, I know that it does something. I blah 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 blah, and they did after thinking it over and over and over and over and over, play. So that was cute how they did that. Just made it a little more fun. Yeah. So I think a lot of the pluses in this song is exactly like Abby said. The lead line is really, very singable, right in there in a comfortable range, and the other parts, go right along with it. And yeah. And what was it? What kept your toe tapping on this?
Rhythm.
It wasn't, yeah, and it wasn't too fast, so it just had that nice easy,
Yeah. Yeah.
like that sort of shuffle feel, which was sustainable. They actually could keep it up.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
And
They
their
had
level
control.
of,
Yeah.
yes, and their level of energy was consistent. They didn't run out
Yeah.
of steam at the end. They didn't run out of stamina. Yeah. Yeah. Really cool. Fun. Yeah. But my favorite part of doing this song was Emily's comment about, oh, this is a much simpler arrangement. It's more homophonic. I'm glad you noticed that. I think that was the whole idea of this whole listening lesson, because some of the arrangers are like, oh, so busy and so crazy. And so that your ears can begin to hear the difference. So that when you go and listen, I don't know if you're going to Phoenix or if you're going to watch the webcast or something, but it's so fun to listen to the arrangements and, what do they do and what made this song so singable? Oh, I know now, and then it's like, oh, look at that cool little thing they did there. I'm going to write that down because I'm going to put that in my bag of tricks so I can put it in one of my arrangements somewhere. I remember, doing that. So that's a really cool thing. So I got to ask, especially Donna, how are your ears doing? Do you feel like you're hearing some of this now or not really yet?
I'm hearing some of it. Yes. Yes.
Good.
I have a hard time hearing the baritone. I have to admit that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That is hard. Yeah.
But
Good. Good. All
it's
right.
coming along.
Good. Good. Okay. So then on October 1st, which is a long ways away yet, we'll do the last two listening ones. Okay. So now that we've done this a little bit, you might pick out more things than you did this first time around, which would be great, and give that a shot. And so I think, are there any more questions about this particular song that we just listened to? Okay. Let's see, and then we're all set with the dates now. For the next one is Friday, September 2nd, 5 o'clock Central Time, and that's intros and tags. Yeah. And I don't know, the last group, when we got done with the intros and tags, their head was like, their heads were spinning by the time we got done. So don't be alarmed if that happens, because it's a lot of information and, you know, it might be even more confusing. So that's why to continue it at the end of the month, it's going to be helpful. Okay. And then if you want to start thinking about how you're going to put your down on the farm together, that would be great. Yeah. So I think we've covered just about everything, and I will, let's see, maybe, yeah, it should be done now. I forgot to send the video from last night to you. So maybe I'll wait till both of them are done and send them to you along with the, everybody's sample of Only Me and Who Will Dry Your Tears. Okay. So I don't know if I'll get to all of that tonight, or I might be still sending that out tomorrow morning or something, but it'll be coming soon. All right. Anything else? Well, thanks for hanging in there for all of this. I hope it's been helpful, because it's just going to train your barbershop ears more and more. All righty. Okay, I'm going to stop
Very
the
much.
recording.
All right.
Oh, wait, I'll stop the share first. There we go. Now we'll stop the recording.